Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy.
Sorry.
You started talking while I was recording. That's fine. Welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 295.
You always have difficulty and you just look it up before you hit record.
295 for the week of January 31st, 2017. Oh, 1 month done already. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Seger.
Bryce.
And Charlie.
Toby's on his way. Bryce, you're actually going to be leaving in a minute here, so... well, here comes Toby. When Toby comes in, why don't you guys switcheroo?
A little tag team?
And then you'll come back, but you have to go run off and run an errand, but you are back, so if you...
Tag teaming you is what we do, me and Toby.
If you pitched in $1, you could hear Bryce briefly from this past half an hour that we just recorded, where he attempts to... find 26 reasons why cable is awesome, one for every letter of the alphabet.
Well, I needed more time.
You did a good job.
And
Toby, now that you're here, we just started. Bryce is going to leave. You're going to tag team. You're going to swap out with Bryce. And then Bryce is going to come back.
we can do our cool handshake, Toby.
Toby's here. He's gonna be joining us on the podcast in just a minute here. Anyway, so we've got a bunch of random crap to talk about this week. But I did have a couple emails that we had gotten over the last week or two about the Marvel digital codes. If you buy Marvel comics for the digital code that comes inside the comics, the books shipping this week do not have them anymore. They have the first issue of various Marvel
Civil
comics.
War II, Miss Marvel Volume, or Captain Marvel Volume 2, and Old Man Logan.
Yeah,
trade
it's Captain Marvel Volume 2?
Yeah, it's Volume 2.
That's weird. Wonder why it's Volume 2.
Probably because Volume 1 sucked.
Well, so if you, if you're buying your Marvel comics for those digital codes of the comics you're buying, that's no longer the case. They don't do them anymore. So,
So if you're listening to this after you went to the comic store, we apologize.
well, yeah, I did get a couple emails. Like I said, I wanted to read these real quick. Some people that had written us in about their experiences with those Marvel codes. I read a couple of these. This is from Javier, who says, "Hey guys, listen to the podcast, and I wanted to chime in. Like you, I live in the Bay Area, and money is tight. Also, living space is tight. It's pretty typical for around here.
Yeah.
I no longer have the luxury to buy all the books I'm interested in and store them away in 10-plus long boxes in an unused closet. I've been forced to order only my precious X-Men books.
My man.
And a handful of titles I want to support. Black Widow, the new Nova title. Buying digital during Comixology sales and hunting for cheap trades. The only books I order online are Marvel because I get to support books I like with the pre-orders, get a free copy for the iPad, and give the hard copy away so they don't pile up in my tiny cramped studio apartment.
What a gentleman.
Storage is tricky enough as it is. Hearing this news about Marvel's plan to do away with the digital codes is a real kick in the nads. It literally breaks my entire buying strategy."
Wait, but can't he just subscribe through your store, still get the digital versions, and just not be able to give away a floppy?
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I missed a word. He buys through DCBS, which is the discount comic book service,
Oh,
so
wow.
highly discounted, which is...
That's a different problem.
Which is fine, yeah. So he continues on. He says, "Thanks for telling me about Hoopla, which is the library rental system that you can use. I downloaded today, and I'll be spending a lot of time with it. I already subscribed to Marvel Unlimited to help me stay semi-current, and with DC putting in their Rebirth stuff, I can finally feel like less of a Marvel fanboy." So yeah, I think
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, Marvel Unlimited is great if you're okay being,
How far behind is Marvel
6
Unlimited?
months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Ugh, that's tough.
Yeah. It's from Brian. He says, "Just listen to the podcast where we talked about the Marvel changing the codes. Much like your customer that you described, I buy physical books from my local comic shop, redeem the code to read on my iPad, then give the comics back to the shop when I'm done. With their recent change, I'm pretty sure I'm not only done with physical comics, and therefore comic book stores, I think I'll quit buying weekly comics from Marvel and just read them 6 months later when they pop up on Marvel Unlimited, unless they drop the price back to $2.99. Huge bummer overall. This policy change just lost me as a customer." Marvel Unlimited is a very successful program for Marvel. And it is aimed squarely at these readers that are not, if you don't care about being current, Marvel Unlimited is a pretty great deal. It's like $100 for the whole year, but there's tons of missing issues, and you're not getting everything. You're only getting the more current stuff plus various random old issues. Bryce, seen a few. One more one here. This is from Elliot. He says, "So I buy and read every Marvel comic publishes. And over the years, the digital codes have been a huge help since the only time I have to read comics is on my work commute, and I don't want to risk damaging the physical books by buying it by taking it out of the house. I don't intend on canceling my main subs, but I'm definitely afraid this change might make it harder for me to keep up with the books, thus forcing me to cancel against my will. I'm going to write a letter to Marvel expressing my feelings because it's seriously frustrating. That's exactly what you should do. You should absolutely write to Marvel if you don't want this, because I think it is a bit of a problem. I wish Bryce was here to hear this. Bryce, maybe you'll hear this when you come back. I absolutely love the show. Need more Bryce briefly about Marvel. Well, you got that today. I'd love to hear more current single issues or story reviews, even if it's short, to something like your favorite and least favorite comic published every week. Love to hear that. Toby? Are you here? Is Toby here? Toby's there. Toby's is Elliot. He says, long live Ben Reilly's Blue Hoodie.
Yes.
I feel like Toby and I have the same taste in 90s comics.
Yes.
Elliot, that is 100% accurate. You guys do. So, if you are a big fan of those digital comics, you definitely want to let them. Know what's going on here. This is super weird. I actually wrote down a handful of things in our little Facebook group here, and they're gone. Where's my topics? Where's my topics for this week? What the heck happened?
I have no idea.
That's very strange.
Did you type it up and not hit enter?
No. I put them on. I put them in yesterday when we were doing stuff. Well, that's all right, because I remember what I was going to talk about. So yeah, really sucks. I wish Marvel would reconsider this, especially considering that a lot of their books are now $4.99 with these #1 issues. I think it really takes away the value, the perceived value, even if they're not ones you're using. But I mean, what are you going to do? Anyone? You guys don't really use those codes at all, huh?
I do on my Silver Surfer issues, but Silver Surfer comes out so infrequently at this point.
Well, you saw that it's been delayed again,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
sucks.
I think that in general, it's going to be overall not detrimental to the market, but I think it is a deterrent for a small portion of the comic book reader population. You want digital and physical to kind of work together in bringing people in, because some people go into the store and they split buying a comic with a friend. One person gets a digital code, one person gets the physical comic, right? They're doing it not because they're trying to cheat out something. It's just that's how they have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as comics get more and more expensive, it works out pretty well that way.
But getting that digital code was also a good thing for people to want to go into stores and buy the actual comic to help support their local comic book store. Yeah. Now it's like, okay, well, I'll just buy it online, and if your store doesn't have a digital storefront through Comixology, the support for what helps make the comic book industry thrive, the stores, the physical stores themselves, you're cutting that out.
Well, yeah. For the people that bought the books for the code specifically, how many of them are just going to go online and buy the digital version? Because I think, again, there's that added value of having the physical comic book plus the code, even if you're only ever reading the digital copy. And Marvel's digital comics, unlike DC's, which are going up to $3.99, but they'll have the digital code, where their digital copy is $2.99. Marvel's digital comics are $3.99 or $4.99. They're the same price as retail.
As the physical.
Yeah.
Which they should be. I feel they should be as a retailer. I'd be a little frustrated if they were significantly cheaper. The DC ones.
No, the thing is
we'll see how that works
DCs
out.
are going to be $3.99 for in-store with code, and
Yeah.
online they're $2.99. So the digital price is not changing on those books. The physical
Right.
price is changing because you're getting an additional thing. So
Yeah, like I said, there is that part of me as a retailer that wants parity between these. I want them to be at the same price. I wonder if DC will change that. But I know DC also has implemented a strategy with the digital comics where they don't drop the price anymore. Or at least if they do, it's not for a very long time. So Marvel's, I think, still go down fairly fast, where DC's aren't. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the case still. So while DC's may be cheaper up front for some of their line, they're keeping them the same price long term. Once you get more than 6 months out, I mean, it doesn't really matter anymore. But yeah, I'm curious how that's all going to work out. Well, we'll see. Again, if this is affecting your comic reading, let us know. I'd love to hear from more people. But let Marvel know too, because Marvel can use all the sales they're getting right now. And here's the problem with this: if you want to drop the books, that's fine. But remember, your comic shop needs to know it. So if you're not picking up the books, let the comic shop know as well.
As soon as possible.
Yeah, as soon as possible. Because I've had multiple customers, and one particular that was like, I'm dropping almost every book that I get because of this move. And so I had to go through my order and drop every comic by like 2 to 3 copies. On top of what I was already going to drop it. So it's, again, they may have bought the last issue, but that came with the code. I have 2 or 3 customers that are not going to buy upcoming issues. So, every book, almost every book across the line from Marvel, I dropped 2 to 3 copies. And in some cases, that's 5-10%. In some cases, that's 50-60% of what I buy. So, or more in a few cases. So, yeah, I mean, there's some books where we're only getting 3 or 4 copies, and I lose 2 subscribers on it. That's half the readers. So, that's crazy. Let's see. We got some bad news. Bernie Wrightson, fantastic artist, one of the greatest artists in comic history, co-creator of Swamp Thing, great horror artist. He is actually retiring due to his health. I was actually at first worried that he passed away, because I just expect that's what's going to start happening here.
You see somebody's name trending, you're like, are they dead?
Yeah.
If they're a politician, you're like, I'm not that lucky.
That was my initial scare. But I guess there was on Facebook, his wife posted this message. It said, I apologize for our silence in the past few months. Last November, Bernie began falling again. I guess he was having some troubles prior. And having obvious problems with perception. He had to undergo yet another brain surgery to relieve bleeding, and then spend several weeks undergoing inpatient rehabilitation. Unfortunately, it appears that he has lasting damage. He has extremely limited function on his left side and is unable to walk or reliably use his left hand, among other limitations. And he is now effectively retired and unable to attend conventions as well. That's awful. Bernie Wrightson is an amazing artist. Swamp Thing, obviously, one of the best comics, one of the best characters in comics. And Bernie Wrightson stuff, too, I mean, super detailed, incredibly detailed work. And there's just, I mean, it would take 4 people to do the art that he does, and he was still doing amazing art in the last decade. So really sucks to lose another great comic artist. But it's unlikely that he'll. I don't think you recover from stuff like this. But he's alive. He's signing some stuff. I guess he has some Kickstarter book that came out or something. So he's signing stuff. So best case scenario, but unfortunate. Yeah, no more Bernie Wrightson art. It looks like. Which is a shame. He's a fantastic artist. Now, I wish Bryce was here, because as part of our Bryce Briefly this week, someone asked him, and Toby, you probably want to jump in on this maybe if you get a chance, what his Rotten Tomatoes reviews were going to be for a bunch of upcoming movies. Well, we have... At this point, I'm not even going to try to defend anything, because I don't even care. It doesn't matter anymore. If the movie's good, they're good. If they suck, they suck. I don't care. Ben Affleck. Who's playing Batman in a lot of the DC movies.
Yes, this is happening.
Coming up. Yeah, this is happening.
It is happening.
And there's going to be a solo Batman movie that was fast-tracked, or was being fast-tracked to get released, probably after Justice League. He was actually in talks and going to direct the Batman movie. And after weeks of rumors and speculation, according to Forbes, that will no longer be the case. So he still intends to play Batman, but he has other work that he wants to do, so he did not have time to also direct the movie. Let's see if I can find the actual quote here. Let's see. There are certain characters who hold a special place in the hearts of millions. Performing this role demands focus, passion for the very best performance I can give. It has become clear that I cannot do both jobs to the level they require. Together with the studio, I've decided to find a partner and a director who will collaborate with me on this massive film. I'm still in this, and we are still making it, but we are currently looking for a director. I remain extremely committed to this project and look forward to bringing this to life for fans around the world. I know a number of people said that the rumors were, he's clashing with DC, and there's question on the quality of the movie, and he doesn't want to be involved. And after the tepid response to Batman v Superman, he's not interested anymore. But I think Ben Affleck was going to quit. He would just quit. I mean, I don't see him dicking around with this if he really doesn't want to do it. So
he's basically in his statement, it's basically saying that him taking on playing this very important role, this very iconic role, this brand, is a lot, and to do that and give the best performance while also trying to direct said film, which superhero movies are their own beasts when it comes to vision and stuff like that. You're not
they're big movies. Yeah,
you're not looking at the same action in like a bank robbery movie, or this is a different level of action and stuff like that. And
it doesn't say anything about not co-writing the script, because Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck were apparently the writers of the movie. So it could just be not only acting in it, but also writing it, as well as doing other projects. I mean, this isn't the only thing he's working on. So
I think it seems like he's wanting it to be more of a very collaborative thing.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it either way.
Yeah, a lot of people asking for George Miller, who's a popular pick after Fury Road. Flash has lost their directors for some reason. They can't get a director that will stick with the project, whether it's quality, whether it's just timing.
They're
who
just
knows?
not up to speed.
Rumor this past week or so has been that they're basically rewriting the Flash script from start and kind of rewriting it. But I mean, this isn't unheard of for projects that are this far out. I mean, I don't know what people's expectations are for Hollywood. I think people are like, oh, you write a movie and you make a movie, and any deviation from that's, they were just doing Guardians reshoots the other day.
Those fools have never heard of Pixar, obviously.
Oh, Pixar drops projects entirely.
3 years.
Oh, completely.
They rewrite things like 20 times over and start over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think like Good Dinosaur was a rare case of this being like, fuck, if you can't salvage this, just throw it out and dump it. I know, was it Inside Out? Didn't they basically do like a quarter of the movie or half the movie or something and completely redid it?
Possible, I don't remember.
They changed up who the main characters of the movie were and redid the story.
It's possible.
I mean, this happens.
Put it past them, yeah.
Yeah, this happens with every project. So,
Back to the Future started filming with a different actor, and
a
month in,
and
they
he
fired
left
him.
Yeah. I would love for these projects to go flawlessly and there be no problem and everything come out perfectly on the other end. And I'm sure there's all these crazy horror stories about the Marvel projects. You see the what's his face, Jon Favreau, right? Left Iron Man. They kind of
didn't
Joss also left.
Joss Whedon, yeah.
But didn't Favreau not get invited back for Iron Man? Wasn't that what happened?
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Well, either way, clearly the groups didn't see eye to eye on something. So, yeah, I mean, I think because of the poor response to the DC movies, I think people maybe are a little more like, oh, here we go again. But I don't know. This happens with everything. I'm trying not to get too.
That's okay. I'm just convinced they're just being like, we should just have Jeff Johns write a Flash script.
Should.
Hell, I would just copy one of the things from his run.
Well, I don't want to say the problem with Johns. Johns writes awesome comic books, right? Do those translate over to a movie? No, you have to.
Well, he's also written very good TV at this point and such.
Yeah, because he wrote a couple of Smallville episodes. And
with the staff and people that did it. So, I mean, again, I would love Johns to be heavily involved in the creative end of all of these movies, and I think he's going to be. I absolutely think he's going to be. If not specifically writing the script, then at least setting the tone and the overall feeling.
Well, I mean, just from Rebirth, from what like the feeling that you got when at the beginning of it, you could definitely see his influence in being like connected, like talking with these guys and hashing things out story wise.
Oh yeah, no,
especially with was it Vendetti?
I think you can see Johns' reach on all the Rebirth titles. While I would say that none or few of them are up to the quality of the work that he does, I feel that they have his kind of signature storytelling in all of them. They all end on cliffhangers. They all have new spins on classic material, but still honors the past. They're not trying to. They're respective of the past, but still trying to do something a little bit different and tell a new story using the same tools. Not trying to throw the thing away and start over, which was a problem for a lot of people in New 52. So there wasn't a ton of big news stuff from this week, but we did get a lot of listener questions from you guys. So thank you all very much that sent everything
And we're done,
in.
right?
So. No. We got lots of questions.
Listener questions.
Yeah, we got lots of listener questions here.
All right.
I got a handful on emails here too, so we'll get through a few of these as well.
I had a little bit to the Batman thing. It is a good thing
Yeah,
that Ben
no.
is calling this out himself, though.
Sure.
If he thinks he needs to do this, then that's a good thing it's starting now as opposed to be halfway through the movie.
Well, it sucks when it's like rumors are he's fighting with them, and
Well, we all know press is,
Sure.
its own machine, and
no, coming out in front of it's the best.
Yeah,
the best way to go
so
about it.
if he ahead of the project go, no, this is not for me, someone else should do it. I think that's a smart move and a calculated move.
Well, it's not like he's
just better for everybody to do it now.
I mean, and
he's
it's
not
hard to give something like that up.
Oh yeah,
but he's also not leaving the project, so
Yeah.
it's not like this sucks. I don't want to do this. It's clearly just the directing aspect of it is not what I want to do. Which I
think
totally
it's
fine.
the directing and starring, like all of the stuff that he would have to do. He wouldn't be able to give 100% to, or 110% to one thing.
Yeah.
It would. He knew it would hinder the other.
A ton of people have been like, "Oh, get Kevin Smith to direct the Batman movie."
No.
God, look, he's
happy with TV. Let's leave
fine on the TV stuff because you can't get too Kevin Smithy. They already have their formula. They already have their feel.
Did you see his daughter on the last episode?
Yeah, she was fine. She was fine. I just have no interest in a Kevin Smith anything,
So
let
in the
alone
next
directed.
Kevin Smith episode, we're supposed to get Matt Damon or Ben Affleck then, right? Because we got Muse, we had his daughter. It's only time.
Did you see? I called you out, Toby, on Twitter a bunch today about your hate for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Fuck that shit.
Did you see that Rachel Bloom, who does Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and also the people from La La Land are going to do... have written songs for the musical crossover that they're doing.
That's fine.
The Music Meister one.
I have nothing against that.
I'm really looking forward to that.
I just don't like your show.
You should watch it. You'd like it.
I did. I've watched it.
Oh, it's so funny. You just hate white people. That's all right, Toby.
I just don't like that show. And I don't like you.
Oh. Okay, let's add some questions.
Yes.
And we can continue to talk about this Batman thing periodically through. I'm sure Bryce will want to throw his 5 cents in. This is from B. Evans on Patreon. He says, didn't you guys read Spider-Man Deadpool 11, which featured Penn and Teller written by Penn Joliet? No, I actually didn't know that was even a thing until the issue came in. That was never promoted. Not that I think it would really matter. I like Penn and Teller. I saw them perform. Me and Liam went to Vegas. Saw them perform. They were awesome. We got to meet them afterwards. Super cool guys. Oh, Penn is... Did I talk about this? I don't even know. Penn is like... He doesn't say a word off stage. He's super reserved and super quiet. Teller is... like crazy, talking to everyone, taking selfies. It's like a weird flip from their onstage personas. It's so strange. Anyway, no, none of us read Spider-Man Deadpool here. I don't think.
Nope.
And I
Wait,
just
that book's still coming out?
yeah, it is. And I don't think Marvel promoted this at all. Maybe there would have been a handful of people that.
It seems like they're not really promoting much. I mean, you got all those classified things in the previews, and then.
That was just because I hadn't announced Secret. What is it?
Secret Empire.
Secret Empire.
Well,
yet.
Secret Empire 0, but everything tied into the end of the Oath, which is already out.
I mean, that's not what we're talking about here. But no, Marvel did not promote this at all. So no, I didn't read it. So I just yeah. This is from Wolf. This is from our email. It says, "What are your guys' thoughts on Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur?"
I like it.
It just gets better and better, but sales remain at 9,000 copies. This book needs more exposure. I understand that a lot of people trade wait for it, but I'm surprised such an all-ages, diversity-infused comic wouldn't be more popular.
It's fun. I like
in regards to sales. And your thoughts?
Ryan doesn't like Marvel books, so he doesn't... I'm kidding.
No, this is a perfect example of a comic that is not built for the comic book store audience. maybe the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur trades do awesome through Scholastic. I have no idea. I literally sell one copy.
And that's to Toby?
No.
I'm waiting for the trade. I bought the first 2 issues.
Yeah.
All I'm really going to say on this subject is...
Plus, I don't think Ryan ordered all of them, so I lost count of it
I
eventually.
ordered the first couple, but the trade came out months ago.
Yeah, but I lost count of it, so then I okay, I guess I'll trade it.
Because it's not something that I've really flipped through a lot here in the shop, because we don't tend to get
Yeah, Ryan.
shelf copies and all that.
I did. I didn't sell any.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
bought the first few.
the fact that one of our listeners has now kind of said, you should check this out, I will add it to my list of stuff I need to check out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the first couple issues and I enjoyed them. I thought they were entertaining. You know, I didn't get much past that because, again, low sales numbers.
I read about 4 pages of the first issue and went, nope, not for me, and put it back. But whatever. I mean,
you just don't like. This is weird because you like dinosaurs.
I love dinosaurs. I love Devil Dinosaur too. I mean, I don't care if. I mean, I'm happy that people like this book. It's just direct market. This is not a book that's going to sell well. It's not aimed at your traditional comic buying audience. So, yeah, it's good on Marvel for continuing to publish it. DC has had certain pet projects like Jonah Hex in the past that sold very poorly, but they continued to publish for a long time. I'm sure Marvel feels that there maybe is some long-term sales possibility
Talk
here,
about a character that I want to see rebirthed.
Or maybe like Miss Marvel. Although the sales on Miss Marvel are plummeting, but the trades might still do well. I'm not sure. It could be the case where the first trade for this volume did really well.
The difficult part is a lot of this stuff is aimed at the Tumblr audience or an audience that's not going to come in and buy these things.
Yeah, it's not aimed at a traditional comic book store audience. So yeah, this is not a book that we have any traction with. So
yeah, I'd be curious, like you said before, to see if it does well with Scholastic.
Yeah, 9,000 copies puts that at about the 2.5 copies per store average. So we sell one, so slightly under average. I guess not making fun of the book at all, not making fun of people that like it. Just not a book that sells well here. This came in a couple days ago. This is from Ronnie. I don't know anything about any of this, so maybe someone, I don't know where he got this from. I don't know if this came out of nowhere. I don't know if he's misinformed. I don't know if I just missed a huge news story. But he says, hey gang, longtime listener. Just curious after listening to the latest episode, but do you know what Charles Soule and Jeff Lemire are doing after leaving Marvel? Lemire is headed to DC, so that's why he's off Moon Knight. Is that true? Did I miss this?
I missed it. If you
were in Florida, Ryan, you missed a lot.
Looked at Jeff Lemire's Twitter account. I looked. I did not see this. I don't know. Maybe he
mentioned something at a con.
Maybe he wants. Maybe Ronnie wants him to go to DC. But if he's going to DC, that's the first I've heard of this.
I hadn't heard of them leaving
this.
Marvel either.
Yeah. He says, can't wait for his Rebirth title to hit in the summer. Yeah, I completely missed that Jeff Lemire's going back to DC.
Is he doing the Legion title?
I don't know. That would be totally fine with me if he is.
Well, maybe we should ask.
But then he
right
says,
now.
I think he will do wonders with Hawkman. What? Again, I don't know if I've completely missed. Maybe. Is Jeff Lemire doing Did we just announce Jeff Lemire's doing JSA? I have no clue.
And Legion?
It says no word if Soule is doing the DC thing or Image, but leaving Marvel. So, again, this is all either news to me, I'm getting trolled, or I missed a huge story. So
It'd be totally funny if he got you good.
Maybe it was a Russian
thing.
If he got you good, that's
he
pretty funny.
He probably did. But, dude...
maybe it's a Russian thing.
If Charles Soule and Jeff Lemire are leaving Marvel... that is
so that's 25% of the line.
That is a crushing blow to Marvel, who's already struggling to hold on to creators right now. That is, I mean, they came from DC, right? But that is a. I don't know how you get over that if that's the case. So again, I have no idea where this comes from. I looked it up. I couldn't find anything about this. So, Ronnie, I like the way you think.
Should we ask Google right now?
I like the way you think. I hope you're right. All right, I got one more here. This is from Indiana Mike, not Jones, no relation. He says, I'm wondering
Named
if
the dog
DC's
Indiana.
I'm wondering if DC's double shipping has caused others to get overwhelmed and backed up on their monthly reading. I'm seriously starting to cut books that I like from multiple publishers just because it's getting too stressful to keep up with everything.
Yes.
Well, you've just been bad with reading everything.
Yeah, but fucking Nightwing number 14 today. I don't even know how many I'm back on right now.
You've probably read the first one for the podcast and none since.
No, I read a few, but I have no clue where. Now I'm at issue 14 already.
Did you finish the Monsterman stuff?
Fucking no idea, man.
I'm liking and reading more DC since Rebirth, even though I've always been a big DC reader. So my total monthly comics have nearly doubled since, are due to the double shipping. I was wondering if others have experienced this. And do you think it'll have a negative impact on DC? I mean, potentially if too many readers feel like they're falling too far behind.
Yeah.
Right now, DC's sales are pretty decent. So, here in the store, they're doing very well. Nationally, they're doing, much better than they were at the end of New 52. I expect if there's negative impact, it's minor. For me, because of the double shipping, it's actually caused me to read more. I am more caught up because of this, because I feel more engaged in the stories. I feel a need and a want to be caught up, whereas in the New 52, man, especially in the last year or two, I started slipping way behind on a lot of titles.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's not necessarily that it purposely cuts stuff, but I think it makes you evaluate your pull a little bit tighter. It makes you go, do I really want to get all of these books that are shipped twice a month? Because like you said before, came out once a month, you fell behind, you're like, whatever, right?
Well, I just didn't remember what the heck was going on between issues, so I just would wait till big arcs come. And, but now I remember what's going on.
Yeah, because the thing is like you read the Batman title this week that comes out this week, and then in 2 weeks the next Batman's going to be out. So it's this nice. I think if you get into the groove of reading, it's not as daunting. But yeah, I can see it as kind of a turnoff if you get 3 months behind and you're sitting on 6 books.
Well, I know Marvel's moving over a bunch of their titles to double shipping, so I'll be curious how that works for them with the X-Men books. Again, I think double shipping is a positive if the book is good, because people will stick with it longer, they feel more connected. And it's a killer if the book is bad, because people will cut that book immediately if it's double shipping. Because what I would find it would happen a lot with the monthly titles is by the time the next issue comes out, you're like, I get did I not like that? I don't remember. Whatever. I'll just keep buying it. But if it's double shipping, it's always on your mind, or much more close to the front of your memory. So you'll have that either positive or negative reaction to it. If you like the book, I feel like you're going to be more compelled to stick with it. If you don't like it, you're more compelled to drop it. And we've seen a handful of the double shipping DC books. I know here Cyborg particularly is selling real bad.
Well, what's funny is I've noticed that a lot of the double shipping titles will make me more aware of the single monthly titles that I don't give a rat's ass about. Like I was like, oh nope, I'm done with Cyborg. Oh nope, I'm done with Blue Beetle. Oh nope, I'm done with this. Right?
Well, Cyborg was biweekly. Was twice a month.
It was?
Yeah, at the start. Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like I've noticed more like, nope, I'm going to cut that. Nope, I'm going to cut that. Even or just faster on the shipping singles, because it's like, oh, this came out. Am I really that interested in keeping going with it?
Charlie likes the double shipping books because it means it's so much sooner to the double-sized, oversized hardcover.
There is that benefit, yes. And this is one of those weird cases where it depends on the book for me, because sometimes the double shipping works really, really well. You get to sort of the story quicker, but I kind of like it better for particular story arcs than doing it like all the time. Like if they wanted to do like the 6-issue story arc with the bi-weekly, and then for the couple of issues in between go back to monthly, then another story arc bi-weekly, sort of longer arcs that way, I could kind of go for that a little bit more.
I could see at the 1 year point they start to pare a few of these books back, especially if more titles start coming out. Books like Aquaman, maybe Green Arrow, Deathstroke. I can see them pushing a few of these back to just once a month.
Green Lanterns, I can see them scaling back.
I think Green Lanterns is done. I think
Green Lanterns, I can see them scaling back. Hal is amazing.
Well, but I think the speed in which the stories come out, I feel like Green Lanterns is justified in its twice a month book, just based on the story arcs they're telling. Because I know. Apparently Titans is moving to double shipping, which is awesome because that's one of my favorite books.
That one, for some reason, doesn't seem like it's coming out at all.
Well, right. So the monthly books, like Red Hood, they're still in like the first arc of Red Hood, and I'm like, oh my god, this book feels so slow. Whereas Batman's on like its fourth story arc, right?
Like Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Oh, Teen Titans is like, ugh. Like I kind of wished they'd all double ship because it really does. It is crazy.
It does throw off your.
You
sense
wish they
of,
all double ship?
Kind of wish.
That is such a different Ryan statement than like 5 years ago.
Well, the thing is they do feel slow. Like, which is what I was pointing out. Like, these feel slow. Do I really want to keep up with these? Because for me, it's like I dropped Supergirl. Because of that, I dropped Blue Beetle really quickly. I dropped, like Hellblazer's on that the fence right now for me because it's like, even Red Hood and the Outlaws, I'm like, do I really want to keep going with this? It's been good, but it's like, ugh.
Yeah,
and
it feels like
Teen Titans, I'm like, I think I'll finish the arc and then I'm done.
I mean, I'm loving them all, but it feels like those once a month books are just dragging. Well, again, we talked about this a few weeks ago, where it used to be 12 issues a year were 12 different stories. 12 issues a year is 2 stories now, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get 24 issues, you're looking at 4, maybe 5 full story arcs in a year, and that is a huge difference.
It's much better.
Well, and I like that DC's experimenting with these 2-issue, 3-issue story arcs. I really like that.
The last issue of Hal Jordan, it's a one-shot.
Yeah.
It's a one-shot story. It's a teaser story. It's a teaser story for what's to come in the books, but it's told in the future. So it's about one of, I can't remember, one of the Finn Lanterns later on in their life when they're older and they have grandchildren, and she's telling the story
it was
to
a
her
new one.
grandchildren.
Like, it wasn't Tomar and it wasn't Tomar 2.
No, it's one after.
Yeah.
And so she's talking about stories that are going to happen to these characters that you see here, which Johns was really good at kind of
But
doing.
he was good about doing that sort of like at the addendum to an issue. This was, I don't know, it wasn't the best issue of the series. Like,
it wasn't the best issue, but I still enjoyed it.
There were aspects of it I liked, but then there were also aspects of it where I'm like, this doesn't really fit again. Like the whole idea, and I keep my ring in a box.
Well, where else are you supposed to keep a ring, Charlie?
On your finger?
But what if you don't want to draw
That doesn't
attention
sound
to
right.
it? What if you don't want to draw attention to it? Like you don't.
Then you end up with Guy Gardner in a bar, and your rings end up on the counter, and then a bunch of hicks pick up your ring, and then you have to like get out of jail and get your rings back.
Did this story actually happen?
Yes.
Sweet. But see, that makes for fun stories that you remember later.
All right, let's move to Twitter. We got a couple questions here.
God, stay off of
more
Twitter.
Than a couple. Jeremy, he asks, is anyone in the podcast fan of crime comics, a la Gotham Central, Killer Be Killed, or other comics by Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker?
Yes.
Fucking fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. Gotham
In
Central.
fact, I was super, super excited that another hardcover for Slumtown came out last week.
Yep. On the superhero end, Gotham Central is an incredible title. Brubaker and Rucka, their back and forth run on Detective
Charlie
and Batman.
has recently given me the entire run of Gotham Central.
It's so
He's
good.
upgraded.
It's so
I
good.
got his other upgrades from an upgrade.
It's such a fun title.
The
So I got
upgrade
the
of an
second
upgrade of
upgrade.
an upgrade.
I got the second upgrade. He got the main
Wait,
upgrade.
who got the originals then?
I love their take on Renee Montoya, Crispus Allen, just the whole GCPD. And if you've read Gotham Central and you like it, you should read the Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker Batman and Detective comics that they did big runs of prior.
Those are the late 700 issues?
Gotham Central.
Yeah, those are the late 700s.
Late 600.
No, 700s.
Late 700 is when they ended it around the Morrison stuff. Because they did Rucka and Brubaker were involved in a lot of the oh god, I'm blanking on the name of it now. What is it called? The earthquake thing.
Oh, No Man's Land.
Cataclysm.
No Man's Land,
No
and
Man's
Cataclysm, and all that. Yeah. So they were
Oh, yeah, I
involved
guess
in some of that.
Those are 500s.
Yeah.
So,
They were doing
that.
that. Yeah. It's great runs in there. And I loved Criminal. I'm kind of far back on a bunch of
Killer Be Killed
Brubaker's.
is really good.
Yeah, I still need to read that. I still need to read.
I'm just waiting for a hardcover. Damn you, Charlie.
I still need to read Fatale. Rucka,
They also got really nice Daredevil runs.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially Brubaker. Yeah. I'm a little behind on my Rucka stuff. I Lazarus, I read the first issue or two and it didn't really click with me. But now
It's a trade thing.
now that the trades are out, yeah, I need to read that.
And 2 hardcovers.
I read the first issue of Black
Black Magic.
but again,
it doesn't come out.
right? I know that's okay. When it's done, I'll read that.
Like, when was the last issue out? Like 6 months ago?
More than that. No, it was before Wonder Woman relaunched. Because that's what Nicola Scott went on to do. Yeah. Let's see. He also asks, do any of you guys collect the IDW artist editions? Do you have any favorites?
Aren't they really pricey?
Yeah,
We need to ask
they are.
Brian, right? He collects them.
he's got a few.
Yeah.
They're cool, just not really my thing. I like
If I
them.
had a bigger house, like an actual bigger house,
Yeah.
I lived in a giant's house, I would probably get them.
So for people
Yeah.
that don't know what these are,
The sad thing is Charlie's agreeing with me.
IDW.
Well, it's not even that. It's I really like what they are. And, I mean, there are certain ones that seriously tempt me. And, I mean, you get into some of the other coffee table books and stuff that I own, and like they've done some great Jack Kirby one. They have the Scrooge McDuck one. They have a couple of Bone ones. They're fantastic books if you're kind of really into art.
Yeah.
For me, because I'm a little stronger in terms of the writing side of things, it's really the classic ones that tempt me. It's like the Kirbys and that kind of stuff. It's not so much a lot of these other ones I put out.
Well, I think it's also difficult because to me it's a coffee table book, but it's almost too big to be a coffee table book. It's like one of those library books that you check out as a reference and then walk over to the big table where nobody's going to sit next to you and look at it, or you have the nice big podium thing that you're going to open it up on. So, what?
Apparently, the barcode scanner is barcode scanning something.
Probably it's the computer reset.
Oh, great. Keep talking.
Can you give us at least a fucking question? Jesus.
No. Keep talking about the big art
No, I'm done with that. All right, let's see what it is.
Don't ask any of the cable questions.
Okay,
Cable is amazing.
this is from. This is gonna piss Ryan off, and I'm so happy I'm gonna read it. Wayne Kahini. I butchered your name. Sorry. Also, while everyone asks for the release of Trump's tax sales, just want to release of Toby and Bryce Larsen episode. He wants the Bryce Larsen and Toby episode released. When is that happening?
Stop talking. Go talk about your big books for a second.
About our big bucks.
Well, let's see. The Absolute Wonder Woman with the...
Oh, looks nice.
Yes, that looks amazing.
This is the chain.
I almost want
Yeah, I
that.
know.
the chain.
The Azzarello.
Azzarello.
But that's not the full run, though. I kind of like
No,
full runs.
no,
Are they
it
going to do the
should-
full run?
Well,
That
in
book would
theory,
be too
if
big.
this sells well, they'll put out the volume 2 and
But I think,
Would
wasn't
it
that
be
a really long run?
3.
I don't know. 2 or 3. Yeah.
How many issues was it? It was
30 some.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
Because the Fitches started in the middle.
What's this, 1 through 12 and a few?
I'm going to go find out.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's move on to a couple other questions here. So on those IDW artist editions, what they are, for people that don't know, is they are full-size scans of art, untouched.
I personally love them. I just don't have the money or room for them.
Yeah, so if you were to go to an art table at an art gallery or a con and buy original art, you would get these, right? This is a book, a hardcover book of generally full story arcs, or as much as they can, or all by one creator, or all of one title. And
They're
they are
really, really nice.
they're awesome looking, but it's
Yeah.
just
There's like the Frank Miller Daredevil. I was
I just
tempted by.
wouldn't do anything with them. I
would look through them, but
yeah,
for the price, when I look through them and put them back and look through them again 4 years from then.
yeah, it's for a hardcore collector
Yeah.
of one thing. It's tough.
Or
to,
if you're diehard about an artist. Like I do have.
If they ever do a Jim Lee one, I'm like,
I do have friends who have particular ones that they've purchased.
Yeah. If they ever did Jim one, it'd be really, really, really.
Well, we
really
know
hard
Ryan
to
would get the
resist.
Frank Quitely one, so
Any event, to answer the question, it would be 2 absolutes for the Wonder Woman. It's 0 through 18 in that.
I may have to do the absolute in that one. I may have to.
Well, I'm going to.
Well, I know you are.
No,
I know you
no,
are.
I'm announcing it on the podcast here. I, Charlie, am going to buy the oversized hardcover.
Okay, this is from
Big surprise there.
Dr. Razor on Twitter says, will there ever be a day that a comic conspiracy crew will go to a con, not as attendees or vendor, but as a guest and host a panel? Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
No, why are you even fucking lying?
I actually looked into it one time.
Oh.
I actually did contact a local con. I was like, hey, because they were looking for panelists. And I was like, hey, if you guys have...
And they said, who is you?
but
Ryan Higgins? Never heard of you.
Exactly. I never heard back. So
Yeah.
there you go. It'd be cool. It'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, if any local cons wants us to host a panel, that'd be awesome.
So
It'd be just you, Ryan Higgins. It's just you.
contact Silicon,
No, I'll go.
contact Silicon Valley Comic Con and tell them that you want us to be there.
Why the fuck
Call us.
Silicon Valley Con?
I don't know.
Like I said, if a comic convention wants us there, we'll
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is from Alex. He says, have you guys ever torn apart a trade paperback for a binding, having some trouble separating the glue from the pages?
Bryce has.
For a trade?
Yeah.
Okay. maybe
Well,
we'll
he
save
did
this
that.
for
He
when
did
gets
that
back.
for his X-Men, the early X-Men stuff. Because remember, he had the Marvel Masterworks.
What I would do at that point, if you're just pulling apart a trade, just get a straight razor, go to the edge, and just start hacking away page by page. That's the only way you're going to do it. Maybe like a heat gun to like kind of separate the glue, like on the binding.
Well, you could also always contact the binding place that you're going to send it to see if they can do it a better job than you. Because a lot of times they do that if you give them specific instructions.
No, they won't. Not these guys. They won't take it apart for you.
Herring and Robinson?
No, they will not.
They take the staples out?
That's not. But they won't take issue. I mean, if you want to bind an entire trade paperback into a run of stuff, that's fine because they'll just cut it.
Yeah.
But if you want specific pages,
I think that's what he wants. He just wants to cut. He's having difficulty cutting out, but I don't think he wants the specific. I don't know.
okay, if you're looking to actually just bind the entire trade within another set of bound stuff, you should be able to just
Send it off.
send it in,
Yeah.
and they will cut that. But if you want specific pages out of a trade, you're on your own.
Yeah. You're going to have to break that shit. Just snap it down.
And then be prepared. Whatever you're trying to get bound will come out on an omnibus or something the next week.
This is from Indigator. It's from Craig.
Why are you asking the ones while Bryce is gone, man?
He says, Legend. Well, it's about DC and a little bit about Marvel. He says, Legends of Tomorrow, the comic book series, was a great way to expose lesser-known characters without having to carry a solo title. Should Marvel follow suit? Should they follow that lead for all the characters they want to promote? No, because no one bought the Legends of Tomorrow comic, and it was never meant to be in mini.
Indigator and I bought it.
I bought it too. It was 4 miniseries that DC said, hey, instead of actually publishing these as individual books because no one's going to buy them, let's just put them in this and get rid of it. I mean, I loved it. I totally think Marvel and DC should have an ongoing anthology book like this forever to promote these characters. But no, that doesn't sell. If Marvel relaunched Marvel Comics Presents, they've tried it a few times. It dies by issue like 4. Nobody cares. Nobody likes the anthologies. It's just the way it is. Unfortunately.
What is wrong with us?
I don't know. Alex also asks, says Alex from before, says, what's your thoughts on David Goyer writing the Green Lantern movie? Gives me no hope for a good Green Lantern movie unless they talk to Johns daily. You know, when David Goyer started out doing stuff, I was like, oh, this guy's pretty great. But now, I just want a different voice. He's done nearly every DC project since Batman Begins. Is there any he hasn't done? Toby? Do you know top of your head?
Assume
I honestly
yes.
don't really like him very much.
You do or don't?
I don't.
No, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I think he has a good voice, but at this point, whether you like him or not,
he might have hit his ceiling. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, I want someone else.
Like, I wouldn't even mind if he goes and does something else. I would check that out. But I think it's time for a change.
Yeah, I just want a different voice involved in the movies. You know,
Not
and
Jeff Loeb.
No, God, no. Jesus.
He's involved in almost every other project, it seems like.
But that's the Marvel
Marvel
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to writing credits, he has done. Let's go all the way back here.
And you
Man,
do the Blade TV show too.
he did, yeah. So
Yeah.
he actually did. If you go way back, he actually did the Crow City of Angels, which was the second one.
Yeah,
Correct?
City of Angels was the second one.
He did the Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV movie with Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff.
God.
He wrote Blade,
The
right?
movie?
He wrote
Okay,
Blade.
okay.
He wrote,
Okay.
which
Which was
right?
good.
That was his. That Blade was his big.
That made him, probably.
That's what
Yeah,
made
his-
him. Right,
yeah.
right. No, that's when I first heard of David Goyer. I'm like, oh, who's this guy? Because you wrote Blade 2 and Blade 3, right?
Blade 1 was so fantastic.
Yeah, Blade 3 is bad. Blade 2 is great too. I love Blade 2.
I love Blade 1.
But all the first two I like, but no, the first one's awesome. All right, so he did Batman Begins, right? He did the Blade TV series. He did Jumper, which is almost like a superhero
Oh
movie.
God, that
Yeah.
movie was horrible.
He wrote Dark Knight.
Yeah. Didn't he co-write it? With the Nolan brother?
Yeah. I think he co-wrote all those.
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, he did story in in those ones. He did screenplay for Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Developed Constantine. He did. He wrote Dawn of Justice, and he's writing on Sandman. So yeah, that's
Sandman the movie?
Sandman. Again, he was listed as one of the creators on it, but
Story guys or screen guys?
yeah, I thought he worked on Green Lantern too, but I guess not. So nearly every DC movie and some early
Wasn't Jeff
Marvel
Johns an
ones.
actual writer on Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Well, Green Lantern had
Like
a lot
7
of
writers.
Yeah, it had a lot of writers.
Toby's giving me the eyeball.
Well, he had control over one of them. I don't know how much control he had.
yeah.
I actually think the biggest mistake of that movie was still the casting.
Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Oh,
I still think that's the
great.
biggest mistake. Nah, I think that was the biggest mistake of that movie.
Oh, I
think he's awesome in everything else. I just think he's not the right Hal Jordan. That was the first mistake, and then I just went down there.
Oh, I disagree. Question here from Anthony. He says, I want to read Blackest Night. It seems huge. How much is essential, and where do I start?
So essential are basically the Green Lantern issues and the Blackest Night issues.
Just read Blackest Night. You can just read the one trade.
No, the Green Lantern ties in a little bit more.
There's 3 ways you can go about this. I tell this to everyone.
Well, I'm going to go by what they put in the absolute, which is the Blackest Night and Green Lantern issues.
You can read Blackest Night. This is what I always tell customers when they ask here at the store. One trade paperback, start to finish, makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's like the second or third page in the second issue is this like just this info dump of like here's everything you've ever needed to know about the Green Lanterns, and you're caught up on everything in one page. It's amazing. It's like the most obvious, just like one picture with just a billion word balloons explaining everything, but it totally catches you up. If that's all, you could read that. Now, if you like that and you either want to reread it or read more about it, by Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps, the Blackest Night books for Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps. Basically, what you want to do is read an issue of Green Lantern, an issue of Blackest Night, an issue of Green Lantern Corps, an issue of
How
Green
did
Lantern.
it collect it in those omnibuses I bought?
It goes back and forth.
It does?
Yeah.
In the proper order?
In the proper order.
Hey, sweet, I did the right thing then.
Yeah. So
Wasn't there a couple of times in there where like 2 issues of Green Lantern came out?
like,
between...
yeah, I think it starts with Green Lantern because
Yeah.
that's the prelude issue, the Black Hand prelude issues in Green Lantern, then Blackest Night, and then I believe Green Lantern Corps is the next
Yeah,
part.
Core has some segments that go into it and tie into it.
Yeah, so if you can
There's-
find the reading orders
There's tons
online.
of reading orders online.
Yeah. And so you can go through and read it if you flip back and forth between the issues. But to really experience Green Lantern Corps, you basically need to start at Green Lantern Rebirth and read the entire Jeff Johns run. Easily collected in 3 omnibus.
Yes.
The first 2 being the entire pre-New 52 run, and the back one being the New
And
52
that will
run.
also include Blackest Night
Yep.
and the Green Lantern Corps issues where appropriate.
Yep. So...
And by appropriate, I don't mean everything that you might want to read in Core, but where it was mission critical to the story going on, it will include those Core issues.
Yep. So
Which means that the Core stuff is pretty good because Tomasi did an amazing job on that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Core's amazing.
With that.
So, yeah, everything essential is in that Green Lantern, all the Jeff Johns issues, plus the essential tie-in stuff. So,
I would recommend though the Untold Tales of the Lanterns Corps.
Yeah, those are good too.
They give the origins of all the different lanterns.
Yep.
Going into Blackest Night.
Yep. I like that one.
Sorry, that's Tales of the Lantern Corps. Untold Tales is like the
Tales of the Black Lanterns.
Tales of the Black Lanterns is the solo book that tells you a couple key origins of the dead people.
So we have
what is whoops?
From Danny. Says thoughts on the Flash and Supergirl musical, which we talked about earlier briefly. Rachel Bloom of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is writing one of the songs, and
does she write all the songs on her show too?
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, and the people that did La La Land, I guess they're doing.
I just don't like the show. I have nothing against it. I just like to give Ryan Higgins shit.
I know.
But I think that's really cool if she's writing all her songs on that show. That's impressive.
I think I said Flash Arrow. I meant Flash Supergirl. I think I said Flash Arrow earlier.
No, you said Supergirl.
Did I say Supergirl?
I heard Supergirl.
Oh, you knew what I meant. Sorry.
You just said the CW Super crossover.
I think I said Flash Arrow earlier in the podcast. I meant Flash Supergirl. Although a Flash Arrow musical would be incredible.
That would be way more incredible. They should totally do that.
A Flash Arrow musical?
Well, we've seen it all. We've seen it at going to those Heroes and Villains and see them get drunk and start singing. Yeah. You know, Malcolm Merlin will totally sing.
Merlin just comes out.
Oh my God! I would die for that episode.
Well, he's got a band.
I would not see it, but I would die for it.
Barrowman has a band and stuff that, like, if you go on YouTube, you can see him sing all sorts of songs.
Oh, he does. He does like plays and everything. I mean, but Berman as Malcolm singing.
Yeah. That'd be funny. That'd be funny.
Arrow singing.
Is this like an alternative universe where Barry's or Detective West is now a lounge singer?
Oh, maybe. So there was an episode of Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yes. Which was great.
It was brilliant.
So Neil Patrick Harris played a villain created for this episode called the Music Meister. Right?
Is he coming back?
No.
I
know. I so wish he
Neil
would have.
Patrick Harris.
Yeah. But it's one of the other Glee people is doing it. So
yeah, I actually was a fan of the first couple seasons of a teeny popper show called Glee, maybe.
So, Music Meister basically
you just said that out loud.
Makes people sing.
I'm idiot enough to admit it.
Okay. And you know, some of the musical stuff in Brave and the Bold were some of the best parts.
Yeah. The Birds of Prey episode.
The Birds of Prey episode being, that's one of the absolute best episodes.
That should give me a weird hard-on.
Can we get off the topic? Because I'm getting uncomfortable over here. So
they're taking this character, Music Meister, that was in the animated series, and they're bringing him into this Flash Supergirl crossover. So I am like super, super stoked. But awesome. the fact that Rachel Bloom is doing some of the songs, and I haven't seen La La Land, but obviously I've heard it's amazing.
I've been dying to watch it, actually.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do it every weekend. I just get busier and busier each weekend, but I'm dying to watch it.
It'll win all the Oscars, so it'll be in the
No, I mean, the Oscars should go to A Monster's Calls, but nobody watches that.
No, it's going to go to La La Land. It's the most Oscar baity movie that's ever been made. It's a movie about Hollywood released in December. It's an Oscar bait movie. Like, that's just how these things work. But yeah, no, I am really excited for this episode now, especially knowing that Rachel Bloom's. She's a hilarious songwriter, so the songs are going to be good. I'm really excited for that. Our good friends over at Pittsburgh Comics, they're asking, how excited are we for Secret Empire number 0 of 9 at $5.99 in the new previews? Okay, guys. Pittsburgh, you're a comic store. I'm a comic store. I run a comic store. We all work here. We know this game goes, man. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of these crossovers. I'm so tired of these crossovers from Marvel. 10-issue crossover. 10 issues.
With the 0, yeah.
And how long is it going to take to come out?
A year.
They'll probably double ship a couple of them. But
why didn't they just do number 1 to 10?
Because it's fucking Marvel. I want to know, what do you guys think of this? Not you. I'm asking Pittsburgh. What do you guys think of this? Because, like, I know what I think of this by now. Like, I'm just so. Ugh.
If it was a $2.99 0 issue, I'd be like, oh, okay, 48 pages, $2.99 0 issue. You're getting interest in it. You're not trying to gouge.
48 pages.
Yeah, it's 48 pages.
For $2.99?
No, for $5.99.
Oh.
I'm saying I would be much more interested if it was $2.99 for 48 pages and a zero issue.
We're not getting that.
Yeah, that never happens.
I don't know. Saga was a double-sized issue and it was $2.99.
Well, yeah, it happens occasionally. But, yeah, I mean, that zero issue is just going to be a recap of everything that's happened.
Recap?
In The Oath and in the last couple issues of Cap from this year. And it's just
anything that might pertain to...
I mean, the potential of a Hydra-led American government sure is topical and could lead to some interesting stories. But
that's what they're doing.
I know. That's what I said.
No, you
Wait,
said
in
could.
reality or in comic book
yeah.
form?
Hail Hydra, right? Yeah. So clearly, Nick Spencer, I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, you know his politics. He is clearly... I'm sure Cap will hopefully come out at the end punching a
Nazi,
large, obnoxious orange man at the end. But, yeah, I just... man, DC has ruined me for crossovers forever. With Justice League versus Suicide Squad.
God. Holy shit.
With these 4-part crossovers that are in Superman in Action and the Batman and Flash one coming up. 4 parts, 2 months. Just done.
The Night of the Monster Man, it was like, it's done.
2 months. Yep, 2 months.
It was okay.
6 parts.
It was all right. Like Justice League versus Suicide Squad, I was like, this is enjoyable. And then I was like, oh, it's not something I'd be like, oh my God, this is what you need to write home about. But it was done. It's done now. And I'm like, okay, we're moving on.
Yeah, I just can't deal with it. I can't deal with these Marvel crossovers anymore. They're literally killing me. They're killing me.
I was on board to read the Justice League versus Suicide Squad. Like either way, I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I enjoyed the beginning a lot more. The last few issues, I mean, it's just a lead in into Justice League of America. So
yeah.
They felt rushed and they felt like, we're going here. Yeah. But because I think there was no, it's 9 months later for this thing, it came out in 2 months.
That immediacy factor. It's like it's done. It's over.
It's done.
It's done.
Like I can go. We're going to Justice League of America with Killer Frost, Lobo, Batman. Like I'm excited for this now.
Yeah. One more from Craig, and I actually meant to talk about this earlier in the episode. He asks, "Are we too old for Riverdale? And why is Miss Grundy so hot?"
Oh, she is so hot.
Did any of you watch Riverdale?
I did.
Okay.
I watched Riverdale Sunday at the shop.
You're not going to watch.
Well, I heard
no
something,
porn in the shop, Charlie.
I heard something about Archie has sex with somebody,
Miss Grundy,
and the thing that I asked the people who watched it
that
was,
would be funny if it was comic book accurate.
Do you think Game of Thrones has desensitized America in let's just make it as crazy as fucking possible?
So, Riverdale.
What's crazy about it?
Riverdale.
Archie having sex with Miss Grundy?
Yeah, but this Miss Grundy is a different Miss Grundy, though.
Yeah, but it's still Miss Grundy.
Doesn't matter.
So Riverdale, that sure is a show. So look, Archie comics have the biggest balls in all of comic books. They just have some huge balls because of the shit they've pulled in the last couple of years. It's been amazing to watch, right? I mean, from Kevin Keller to the Life of Archie to the Afterlife with Archie to Riverdale to their reboot with Mark Waid. Like, man, they're just like, oh, what do we care? We'll try anything once. And it has actually been really cool to see what's been coming out of this. Mm-hmm. Riverdale is the gayest show I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm not using that as like a negative. It is just so super gay.
So
and it's like,
are you telling people to, whenever you're talking about it, to tag people who don't like this?
I'm not sure what that says about me, Ryan. If you say this is
so Roberto Aguiar Sacasa, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's a playwright.
Saki?
He's written for Marvel Comics. So this guy, when he's done stuff, it's been like, it's really gay. And like, again, this is not a bad thing.
This is where we need to be on a video podcast.
It caught me off guard slightly, just slightly. It caught me off guard slightly.
I'm still waiting where it was gay.
It's okay. So
no, I'm serious.
Oh dear
Besides,
God.
there's one gay character. What's gay about the rest of it?
It's just that
Vampire Diaries.
It is a CW fucking
it's
show.
that
You don't go see half naked
really
dudes.
gay CW show, right? Which is again, I'm
Dude,
not.
you see more shirtless fucking Arrow than you have seen
I
Archie
know. Like I said, I'm not
in
saying,
one episode.
I'm not saying there's anything bad. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just saying
All right.
it was a little more CW than I was expecting. How about that? It was a little more CW. I was expecting a certain level of CW-ishness, but it was a level. Now, maybe it's just the first episode. They want to kind of shock and awe. It was real CW.
Is that a thing? Can we look that up on Wikipedia?
Slightly intrigued. I think I'll watch another couple episodes.
Have you ever watched The Killing?
No.
You should watch that
I heard that's
instead.
pretty good.
I think you should watch that instead. I got a total Killing vibe off of this.
Okay.
The Killing is like all the drama of this one minus all the teenagers and the abs.
Yeah, I mean, it's written like a stage play, right? And
Yeah.
so that's Roberto Aguilar Sacasa.
So are
I
you
can never
saying
pronounce his name.
stage plays are gay?
Well, sure, of course.
Okay.
But he that's how he writes. His stuff comes off because he's a playwright. I mean, that's how his stuff comes off. And so like Veronica especially, her dialogue is just this really play-like dialogue, which again, it works sometimes. I thought at first this was going to be like really Twin Peaksy, 'cause that's kind of what it looked like. But it came off like very like what's that show? I'm blanking on the name of it now. Bates Motel. It reminded me a lot of Bates Motel, which Leanne disagreed with me on this, and she loves Bates Motel. But I felt like it just weirdly, way overly sexualized teenagers, strange, stilted, forced, play-like dialogue.
When aren't teenagers in television media oversexed?
This is to
they took it to another level?
This is to a pretty big level. So I don't know. Yeah, Toby, you seem to like it.
No, I'll give it more episodes.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I think there's only 2 good characters on the show right now.
Yeah.
Beyond that, not much to say. Like, here's the problem again. Like, when it gets too close to other shows I really enjoy,
Yeah.
then the comparisons start, and then I go, well, you know what? I enjoyed the other show more, so why am I watching this one?
Yeah.
So that's just a problem I have because I watch far too much television. But when it gets to far too close to something else I already enjoyed and already seen, then my time is limited. Then my focus goes elsewhere and go, maybe I should watch something else instead. So that's all it is. But I actually enjoyed Betty. Oh no, not Betty. Which one's the dark-haired one?
Veronica.
I liked her a lot actually in the show. She's one of the 2, and I like Jughead a lot too.
Yeah, Jughead was my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, the 2 of them are definitely like if those 2 didn't exist in that show, I probably would have not even finished the show itself. But the 2 intrigued me enough to continue on.
I was hoping that God, what's her name? The redhead.
Charlotte, I believe.
No,
It's not Charlotte.
No,
The twin.
Yeah, wow, God, why am I blanking on her?
It's not
name now?
Charlotte.
Say Cherry Pup Tart. It's not Cherry Pup Tart.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
really?
yeah. Well, that's who she's based on. I mean, that's the parody. God, the
We know who you're
sister,
talking about.
The sister on the show. I was expecting her to be more like a Twin Peaks thing, not like a bad girl,
Like a cookie cutter
bad girl, thing.
bad girl.
Yeah, it kind of
It was very cookie cutter.
It was not the show that I thought it was gonna be, so that's why I'm intrigued. I will definitely watch a couple more, but it's a
If it wasn't for Jughead and Veronica, I probably wouldn't care anymore.
So, in general, I think the thing about this show that struck me the most, and I don't think it actually was a bad show, but it
might
was
be
smart
cool.
calling it Riverdale, because I think in general, nobody would sort of recognize, if they had called it Archie, people would have gone in with certain expectations.
Yeah, that would have been like, what the fuck is
and
this?
this would have just been like, these are not the characters you grew up with at all.
Yeah, no.
I like the way they did the crown for Jughead.
Yeah, his hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really well done.
So, do you ever see Pretty Little Liars?
Nope.
That's one of the shows that I saw a lot of people compare this to. with just the
That wasn't the show I seemed to wanted to
girls.
watch.
Yeah. Yeah, Riverdale. That's a weird show.
You were so excited about it too.
Well, again, it had that sort of Twin Peaks look, and it still could go in that direction.
Yeah.
They've done weird stuff in Archie.
Do me a
They bring
favor.
Sabrina into Riverdale, and I'm there. Like, I am 100% down.
They're gonna
right?
turn into Once Upon at that point.
Well, right, exactly. They bring Sabrina in, I am like totally down. But I feel like I don't know. I don't know how they're going to take the show because I want to see other people write episodes, not him, because the way he writes always comes off to me very, like I said, very stage play-y. And I
Which
want
is nothing
to see,
wrong with that.
No,
It
but
seems like it's methodical. It's more.
What's very stilted dialogue? It's characters talking to an audience, not characters interacting with each other. I want to see a more traditional TV writer's approach during. Kind of like the first season or two of Gotham, where there are genius episodes and absolute trash episodes, depending on who wrote them. I want to see if Riverdale's kind of the same. I don't think it's trash. I thought it was an intriguing first episode, but it's like a little embarrassed watching it. So
You should. No kidding.
yeah, well, you know, it was. I watched so much other stuff in the season.
No, I have found two characters I'm intrigued by, so I'll probably give it another few more episodes or the season, maybe even.
Yeah.
But I am very curious for you to, because I don't remember Twin Peaks, but from what I think Twin Peaks is, I think you would maybe love The Killing.
Okay.
I think you should really try that one. The American. I haven't actually seen the original version, which is like a European show. Okay. But I actually really, from what I understand Twin Peaks to be, I think you should give The Killings a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Twin Peaks is a 50s America murder mystery with weird, it's like kind of, I don't want to say science fiction. It's almost more like magic and science fiction and fantasy all kind of rolled into like this weird occult background to this really normal 50s style America with weird shit happening behind closed doors.
Okay, maybe it's not. So The Killing is basically a straight up murder mystery.
Yeah.
And it's one murder they're solving, and it's a little slow for most American audiences, but I thought it was really well done.
Well, Twin Peaks is
it's got the general from Suicide Squad as one of the main characters.
Oh, cool.
Not that it helps you, but...
Twin Peaks is a soap opera. Straight up and down a soap opera.
Okay.
Just a very weird soap opera.
Huh.
And that first episode of Riverdale is...
It's like a soap opera that went up to the woods, dropped acid, and wanted to be...
Riverdale has that soap opera-y element to it.
The impression I got of Riverdale is that traditionally a story like that would unfold very, very slowly over a season.
Yeah.
I think it actually might surprise us a little bit and hit the ground running at a faster pace, similar to the way like Arrow started and some of the other stuff. But
I think we watched episode 0. I almost feel like the body should have been the first thing that happened on the episode.
Yeah.
Personally. But so I feel like all of that stuff was character building stuff, and now we actually jump into it.
Cheryl Blossom. That's
Cheryl, not Charlotte. See, I was close.
Yeah.
Next question.
We're wrapping up here. Bryce never came back. He was supposed to come back. He got
We're
lost.
supposed to keep recording until he comes back.
well, it was supposed to be right back briefly time.
Yeah.
Well, it's briefly done. He's right on time.
We got that Bryce briefly recorded, so at least we'll have to have him in for that. Okay, got one or two more. We got one from Joseph. He says, how impending is a Marvel reboot? How can Marvel turn things around? Should Bendis just F off to Image and let younger blood take over?
The reboot's just going to kill him right now.
I just don't...
I've been saying this for a while now. They gotta hoist more new talent. So
yeah.
I am up for Bendis maybe taking a backseat and seeing if there's new talent that steps up. But the problem is there might not be, so it'd be a scary move.
Marvel can finagle these numbers to look fine month after month. I mean, the numbers are coming down, but they still find ways to somehow sell a bunch of random issues of stuff. So, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to look at the January, February, March sales numbers. They're axing a ton of titles. They're launching those X-Men books. They're relaunching all the Inhuman stuff. I mean, September. It'll happen in September. Again. Like it has every year for the past 4 years. They'll do a relaunch in September. Hopefully,
yeah, but
after
I'm guessing
Secret,
he's not referring to a relaunch as in what they've been doing currently. At least the way I interpreted that is
Line wide. Bring back the characters that you know and love.
Yeah.
There's no real superhero right now at Marvel, is there? I'm like looking at the wall. It's like
Here-
sci-fi.
Spider-Man?
Or,
Here is what Marvel should do.
yeah.
Month after month, slowly cancel off your bottom 25% of your titles, your bottom 40% of your titles, and every month introduce one or two traditional ongoing titles with stable creative teams, with a vision for the future. You don't need a line-wide reboot, but if you start launching books, people will come. You don't. If you try to relaunch again, nobody's falling for it.
No, because the all new, all different
Just do it
just
naturally. Get rid
Kinda
of
nice.
all the weird
Kinda nice
adjectives.
change.
Yeah, it would be, right? Get rid of all the weird adjectives. Get rid of Uncanny Avengers. Get rid of all
this
new
weird-
X-Men. Get rid of all those weird adjectives.
Sadly, this has been more than decades of weird naming conventions.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Go back to your normal books.
I don't count Spider-Man, man. Spider-Man is in Spider-World right now with all the other Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is like a traditional, normal superhero comic. I don't think there. I mean, I'm looking. I don't count the Black Panther one either. I mean, and the Captain America is, well, maybe Cap, but there's
Doctor
not.
Strange.
There's not a whole lot of
No.
like, normal Marvel stuff at Marvel right now.
No, they need to just.
There is cool Marvel stuff before all these haters on the Facebook come back and say, no, there is good Marvel stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It'd be nice to have some tradition again.
Well, the thing is I think Bryce was, if you get to listen to the briefly, Bryce was talking about how great the Mighty Thor is and how great Unworthy Thor is, and how they're kind of going to mesh back together. And I think that's a good idea for that, because if those two just mesh back together, where the Unworthy Thor is kind of like this added series that you read while the Mighty Thor goes on, and then if Thor comes back, just keep him in Mighty Thor. Don't renumber it back to number one because he's back in. Just let it naturally be part of the story, because that's one of the biggest problems with the Mighty Thor is that we got it when Aaron started it was Thor, and then they relaunched it and it was female Thor, and then less than a year later they relaunched it again as the Mighty Thor with the female. And the thing is by now they would be on almost 50 issues.
Exactly. I want Marvel Comics to hit issues 25, 50, 75. You don't have to relaunch a single title. You can get rid of all your weird, crappy stuff. You can continue with the big books. Just get rid of, you don't have to get rid of every weird book or every alternative book or every different book. Not all, but a lot of them. I could list you half the wall to get rid of that wouldn't affect your bottom line. Replace them with traditional titles. Get back some of this normalcy to the Marvel Universe to some degree. Do not relaunch. Do not focus on variant covers. Don't renumber. Don't reboot. Normal creators, consecutive creators that are going to last 24, 36 issues. I don't know.
Would be nice, wouldn't it be?
It'd be real nice. Let's see. I think I maybe go one or two more here. This is from Lester. He says, with the $1 increase for the monthly DC Comics, will we get 22 pages again? No, you won't. You're getting the digital comic. That's why. They're not going to add those 2 pages back in. Those 2 pages aren't coming back to any comic ever. And let's end with this one. It's from Tom. He says, will someone explain the Valiant universe to me and what I need to read? Is Valiant just a 90s leftover, or are they still relevant? Before Brock jumps in on this, let me just say that the Valiant comic of the 90s were actually awesome for the first few years. This is a lot of those same characters just rebooted. But Brock, you want to give your favorite suggestions for Valiant?
I'm super curious about one question for Brock before we get started on this.
Go.
How up to date are you on Valiant titles?
Completely.
Okay, awesome. I fell off like 2 years ago now or something.
So I would say that the core books that you would have to look at coming into kind of Valiant, you don't need to read the old stuff.
No.
You can just come in with the newer.
I mean, it's totally different.
It's totally different, yeah. So
They're not connected.
no, Exo Manowar I think was the flagship title, and that's the one I think that is a good starting point. If you get into Exo Manowar, then you can branch off and check out Bloodshot and Harbinger. What was the one other title because Ninjak
Well,
didn't start.
Quantum and Woody was pretty early.
Archer and Armstrong. That was the other one. So Archer and Armstrong. So Exo Man of War, I would say first, and then depending on what you kind of like, Harbinger, Bloodshot, and Archer versus Armstrong. Archer versus Armstrong is a little more humorous in its content versus Bloodshot, which is just bloody and more violent.
Yeah.
And Harbinger is very more kind of thought-provoking and kind of world-changing in the sense of what the Harbinger Foundation wants to do. And then you just go from there. Bloodshot will continue in Bloodshot Reborn, which then turns into Bloodshot USA.
I hate the variance on this.
Yeah,
miniseries.
I am not a big fan of the miniseries thing that they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Because they ended Exo Man of War, and then now they're just restarting it at number 1. But I'm okay with that a little bit because Exo went for 50 some odd issues.
Mm-hmm.
They had like 5 years worth of content in that Exo Man of War stuff, and it's written by Vendetti, who did he did an amazing job with Exo Man of War. So when he was put on Green Lantern after Johns, I was excited for it, but he had definitely not done his research.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say start with those. Like, just start with Exo Man of War and then kind of go from there. There's random stuff here and there, like Shadow Man and Ra Array, or however you want to say it. Rai. Those, it just depends on how deep you want to go into it. Divinity. Divinity is something that you would come to much later, but they're doing like the Stalinverse right now for Divinity. It's Divinity 3. But yeah, start with Exo, Man of War. I think there's 8 trades of that one.
Something like that.
But yeah, that's definitely a place to start. And yeah, you can shoot me a question on Twitter if you need a little more guidance. But
yeah.
So.
All right. That
Bryce
sounds like
never
an episode.
came back.
Hope he's all right. I'll have to check up on him. I'll have to text him or something. He never texted me. So, he'll come wandering in 2 minutes when we're shutting down the recording. He's only been gone an hour and a half. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Sorry a little light on the news this week, but we should have some more stuff next week.
I think people like when we do Q&A episodes.
Yeah.
They go, I have the chance to maybe be on.
Well, I had a bunch of emails to read, so that was good. And like Comic Week means nothing bad happened. Well, always slightly bad stuff happened
this
in the comic
week.
world.
Your wallet's going to thank you for how light the comic books are this week.
Yeah, we're in a weird couple weeks. I think I maybe talked about this briefly last week, where the final day of January and February is a Tuesday. So the books shipping to us this week are technically February books because they're released on February, which causes March to have a 5 Wednesday month, but it's like the books ship weird in February because of that 5. It's almost like a 5 week month, a 3 week month in February, and then a 5 week month. It's a weird.
We're getting previews.
Yeah,
tomorrow,
this week.
which we're supposed to get previews the last week, but because the last day is Tuesday.
It's a weird shipping schedule. I mean, maybe if you just walk into a store, you're not gonna even think about it. You're like, whatever, comic books are here, yay. But for us on the retail end, it's a weird couple weeks. So you're gonna get some like bigger weeks and smaller weeks, and this is a tiny week. So comparatively to what I think the next few weeks are going to be. Anyway. Thank our good friends, Albert Soy, on Patreon. Make sure you back us. If you back us, Patreon should clear in the next day or two. So if you hear this, you probably still have a little bit of time to go on and get that Bryce briefly from this month. Otherwise, you have all the previous months to hear as well when you join. We got to thank Julian Titus, the Nerdzilla Pants podcast at pixelbit.com.
No pants.
There it is. Ryan Hess, the Preach Podcast at soundcloud.com/Preach Podcast.
He seriously needs to get on his Twitter and just the random shit that people say in a pawn store or write a book about.
It's really funny. Yeah,
because
it's really
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he has some great stories. Jody Lawson has canon the Triad Comics anthology at triadcomicstudio.com. Also, our good friends Manoa Play, Sam Che, and Talon Bray. Thank you guys all very much For all our other backers on Patreon, we're going to thank you guys next week. So remember, jump on there. As little as $1 a month, you get all our bonus content. And $5 or more, you get in the thank you.
My guess is that's Bryce because he's zooming in and
He's
parking
parking
in the
handicap spot. Yeah. ComicConspiracyPodcast.com, Geekbox.net, and iTunes. That's where you can find all your other episodes and rate and review us, please. The Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox.net or the contact form is where you can send us some messages. Bonus Bryce, as we're closing out the episode.
Dairy!
What happened?
Legendary!
What happened to you?
You're welcome.
What happened to you?
I'm a man of business.
Okay.
I'm a man of busyness.
Okay.
So what did I miss? I assume an hour and a half of you talking about how great Marvel is.
Yeah, well, patreon.com/comicconspiracy is where you can go to donate some money for us.
That's how far along you are?
You're like, yeah, are you literally, I hope where you're going is by here, and you come way out of the way.
It is by here.
Okay, good. As we're closing out, and we're going to thank... we already did all that. We have to talk about ConspiratorBrock.com and his blog and video pull list. Bryce, as we're mentioning ConspiratorBrock.com, why don't you tell us a very quick fact that you want our listeners to know? Why don't you answer a question? I had one saved for you.
I would love to answer a question.
Hold on.
Yes, Rocket Raccoon is overrated.
Let me go back to it. It's about Cable. I figure it'll go back to our Briefly.
The legendary Briefly.
Yeah.
God, Silk was so bad.
Uh-oh. Toby's mad at you now.
No, I think it's back too. I don't know why you keep pulling it from me. I feel
Take your name off it if you don't want it anymore. Where is it? I had a question here.
Have
Great
I talked
radio.
about how good Thanos and Black Science are in this podcast?
Yeah.
Or was that only the
Talked
Briefly?
about
No, that was on the Briefly.
Okay.
That's on the Briefly,
Well,
but-
to hear more.
But they need to Patreon.
Oh, yes. Maybe I like it, maybe I don't. Champion and his red hair.
The question comes from Killing Him Softly on Twitter, and they ask, who's the current best writer at Marvel, and why aren't they writing Cable?
Oh, I have a great answer for this.
And why?
Oh.
Why aren't they writing Cable? Oh, can you answer this question for me?
I can answer
One of
both
our-
questions.
one of our writers-
the one you
one of-
already asked and...
One of our listeners wrote in earlier and said that, according to him, I don't know where this info came from.
Probably from your troll bank.
Let's
hear it.
Jeff Lemire is leaving Marvel to go back to DC, and Charles Soule is leaving Marvel
To go somewhere.
just to leave Marvel. Have you heard anything about this?
Why on earth, between the company, the fine company that we have here, would I have been the one to hear about this first?
Here, answer this question
I think
for me
that
instead.
I work in an office more than any of you,
Answer this question for me instead.
which isn't a good or bad thing. It's just...
Jonathan, all right, our good friend, he's been here at the store a bunch. He asks,
okay.
in honor of the Tishman and Cordy Cable run, right? Charlie knows. Charlie looked up. He knew what was going on.
Yeah.
It's showing up in Comixology. What's the best non-team book run of Cable?
Dude, I've said this before. It is... So he's had several good runs, but the one I will always go back to is the Ariel Olivetti, and I don't even know who wrote it. Charlie probably looked it up, so that's the only reason he knows. But the Ariel Olivetti run, where he's running from Bishop through time with Hope, and it gives a great reason why Hope goes from
Messiah Complex, Messiah War. That's the one that goes.
The name I can never pronounce. It
It's
sounds like
not.
Straczynski.
It's not
but-
Straczynski. It's Swarf.
I know. I can't pronounce the name.
Swarinsky. Yeah.
yes,
Not the...
Honestly,
Stravinsky's
that's
Eastern European cousin.
That's the only reason I can remember the writer on it, though, is because I've looked at it enough, going I cannot pronounce that.
Yeah.
Not Straczynski. It's not Straczynski.
Neither can I. But it's like Sizwecki or something.
It's not all the Fabian Nicieza stuff back in the early days?
No, I mean that was great. I mean there was some great runs. It was Nicieza where he is fighting at least one of the acolytes of Magneto's acolytes. But dude, so that's great 90s Cable. There's some great Cable back then, fighting Strife and all that. But really, I mean, the best Cable being just a badass. It doesn't have as much shoulder pads and pouches, I guess guns and pouches, even though he has all of those. I think that it's a great time travel story. It's self-contained, with the slight asterisks of it including crossovers with the Messiah Complex trilogy. I think that it crosses over with Messiah Complex, maybe, or no, maybe that's what kicks it off, that art or that story, and then Messiah War it crosses over with, and then there's I think a third one in there somewhere.
Second Coming. Is that the name of the third?
Oh, it's Second Coming when they finally come home.
It's Messiah Complex.
That bookends it. It might be,
if I recall.
Yeah, it might be the series that bookends it. Anyway, that is the best because like you could bind that. Oh, there was a question about binding. Did you get to that already?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
No. Have you cut a trade paperback?
Yeah. So I don't know what you guys answered. So sorry if this is a duplicate. But I in volume 67 of my complete X-Men binding, I bound several of the Peter David X Factor books from the past decade. And what you do is you take off the two covers, and then with just the papers inside, you slice it down the middle into halves or thirds, and then from there they are able. And you need to peel off the covers because the covers are glued. So you need to like slice them with an X-Acto and then peel it slowly separate it from the glue, separate the cardboard from the paper.
Taking the skin off a fish or something.
But more delicious. And so then you cut it in halves or thirds, or more, but you don't need to. And then they're actually able to bind it perfectly. I have several trades that I've done that to that have come back looking perfectly in sync with the rest of the comics that are surrounding them or in between them or whatever. But anyway, that's that has been my go-to Cable answer for several times I've been asked this question, but I still stand by it. It is a great story of Cable. It'd be so easy for comic writers to sort of say like, "Oops, or Hope just we used magic and now she's a decade older," or something. Like, it was a whole story of explaining how she got older, him on the run from Bishop, sort of really. I mean, you want to talk about character development? Like, Hope got developed from literally an infant into like why she should be a badass. Now we could argue about whether or not she's such a badass anymore. By the way, where is Hope?
Where is Hope?
Other than that, they made her into an awesome character.
Hashtag no hope.
Just because they did shit with her.
Bring your politics into this.
Just because they did shit with her afterwards, and gave her Simon Superior, that's not Hope's fault. So anyway, that's great stuff in the 90s and the 2000s, but the best stuff was in the past decade.
I don't know. I still like the 90s stuff better. I liked a lot of the mystery around, was he the clone? Was he not the clone?
Yeah, that was
and
great. That was great. That was great.
Not to mention, you kind of built up into
different.
the whole like Rise of Apocalypse of 12, and
yep, that's true too. I mean, it is so different. Such different Cable.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Apples and oranges. So that's a very good answer. I'm sure what Charlie gave was an incredible answer.
The reason you gravitate towards that Cable run is because it's easier. It's easier to access that one. There isn't.
They have the classic Cable trades.
No. I'm not talking like access to reading it. I'm saying like if you were to pick up like one of those Cables, there might be too much information from you for you to catch up on.
That's a good point.
This one is Cable's running from this guy Bishop, and he's protecting Hope. That's really all you need to know.
Yep.
So it's a little bit. The access point is a little bit easier.
More.
Now, when they come out of it and they're back, they're like, "Holy shit! Look at all this other universe stuff." Now let's go read the Cable classics and see what the hell happened to this guy when he wasn't spending 15 fucking years raising Hope.
Yeah, more approachable is I think what you're saying. So yes,
that's okay. And you thought they couldn't make Cable any older?
No.
So yeah. Anyway, that Cable has lots of great stories. He's the greatest character there is. So that's obvious. But
do you want to hear about more stories about old people? You should listen to the Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast that Charlie does every week about Doctor Who's. Most of them who are old, including the most recent Peter Capaldi, who is no longer the Doctor as of the end of this season.
Yeah.
Officially out. Spoiler. R.I.P. Capaldi. You were a great Doctor. You just had some shit stories to deal with. Sorry, Charlie.
That's too bad.
It is too bad. He was pretty good.
But it does give the new guy a fresh start. Kind of like Moffat got.
Yeah. Get out of here, Moffat. You suck. Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That's my wonderful wife, Leanne. Her art store. You can go on there and buy stuff from there. Ryan Higgins, Ryan. I'm on Twitter. That's me. Brock Sager. is Brock Sager. Larsen Bryce is Bryce Larsen. Toby's Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. Add us all, please.
Speaking of the store, you should buy comics from our digital storefront.
I said that earlier.
No, you didn't.
Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. I said saying that when Bryce was sitting down. At least I think I did.
I didn't remember.
And you should listen to the Geekbox that I'm on, the Comedy Button, which I'm not on, Good John Brain, which I would never be on because I'm not smart enough. All Talk, which is having their 5th anniversary
you better be
episode.
smart this Saturday, bitch.
Yeah, I'm not going to be. All Talk Podcast, which I believe their 5th anniversary is this Sunday, which I'm recording an episode with them, so look for that pretty soon.
There's no giving up on Saturday, Ryan Higgins.
Maga Machinations, which me and Toby have both been on in the past. If for some reason you're in San Francisco at the Zelda Scrap event on Saturday, come find me and Toby. I'll be the one sitting in front of the Switch and playing the Switch and not caring about the
I'm gonna be yelling at you.
not caring about the escape room game.
Why do I
just wanna
think
play
there's
the
going to be a
Switch.
viral video of Ryan just playing this thing?
I'm just
like,
gonna
and
I'm gonna be
not
sitting there
letting
just
anybody touch it?
crying, just tears rolling down my face. It's the most beautiful thing in the world.
If the commercials have anything to, indicate what's to come, it's going to be you with a bunch of, young, good-looking teenagers who also came to do whatever event you guys are signed up for, but would rather play the Switch with you instead.
Instead of playing basketball, we're going to sit 2v2 and sit on the side and play the Switch.
Sit on the
I'm
sideline.
down with that. I'm down with that. I actually go to the event but not play the escape room. I'll play the escape room video game in the corner room.
With 4 other people that signed up.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
3 other people,
yeah. Look forward to that.
Losers.
All right, thanks you guys. We'll catch everyone next week.